Hello and welcome to our Symphony stream. Oh no, wait a minute. That's the wrong thing.
Whoa, hold on.
Hello and welcome to Legends of Tabletop. I have with me my eldritch co-host Oscar Rios tonight.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy to be here.
Super excited to have Bridgett on the show finally. How you doing?
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me on. I think I've been on before.
So I think you came on our not PAX. We just did a PAX Unplugged
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon thing.
So it's been a year. It's been a year. You have me on once a year. We're good. We're hitting our quota. Right. I'll be on for the next post Necronomicon in 2024 to be good.
Well, I hope not. I hope you'll join us for something fun.
Oh, wow. I like fun things. But yeah, no. Thank you for having me back, guys. I'm excited. I suddenly just got really hot. I'm about to open up a window. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hey, do what you got to do. Thanks for coming on, being sick. You got sick right after. So we were supposed to do this last week and punted because I was sick, and then you.
Yeah, I know. I was following your lead, babe. Thank you for leading me into despair and destruction.
If I'm really sick next week, I'm gonna fucking be real upset at both of you. I better not be sick for New Year's. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, John, you had some weird situation. I have COVID.
Thing. Yeah.
Oscar, just stay above water, babe. We're rooting for you.
Yeah. I'm on a cane now. Yeah, she's been unlocked. I'm on my feet. It ain't pretty, it ain't fast, but I can walk.
But you're on your feet, babe. The man, the myth, the legend, the cane. This is good.
It's an ugly cane. It's not even cute. It's got like the old man 4 feet cane. So.
Oh, you didn't even upgrade to a sexy cane? You can do better than that, babe. Come on
now. Because I need the 4 feet because I'm really unsteady. Like a really cute cane is not going to have the big giant footprint.
Fair.
So I'm still a few weeks away from a nerdy, stylish, sexy cane.
Okay. All right. We'll wait for it.
We got to get you a Cthulhu cane.
Oh, with the tentacles wrapping up and around the handle.
God.
Yes.
I'm 53, guys. I really should start trying to act like a grown-up at some point.
No, you don't. That's a lie that the media told you. You're a baby.
Look, I would do a wolf, or I would do like a raven's head, or some Celtic knotwork.
Ooh.
But like a full-blown Shoggoth, or like a Cthulhu. I don't know if I'm. Well, no,
you're there.
Yeah, let me know.
You can pull that off.
You would be the one amongst us who could pull that off with
I'd be a hit at Necronomicon 2024. That's for
honey,
sure.
Listen.
God willing, I won't even be on a cane by then.
Fingers
God
crossed.
Willing. Hey.
Oh, hello. I was unprepared for shit to pop up on the screen.
We actually have viewers, and they communicate with us sometimes.
That's amazing.
Sometimes. Usually tell somebody they suck while we're trying to run a game. Like,
okay. Yeah. You can't please them all. It's the internet.
No, it's like they're following along. Like, how could you miss that role?
You could do this. It's like, listen. Yeah.
It's all about the fun.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Keith Doc Herber, who was one of my mentors, God rest his soul, once told me, and I live by these words, we better have fun doing this because there's no real money in it.
Listen, find joy where you can. Yes, right. I like those words.
Better have a good time doing it because there's not any money in it. Okay.
We do it because we love it.
Right.
So audience members, you guys are going to have to love me through the fact that my life is dying right now. So if I randomly go on mute and you see me pulled over into a trash can or blowing my nose, just love me through it. If that's not your jam, I wish I could give you like a trigger warning that it's coming, but I can't.
She didn't punt. She's here. She's a trooper. You've already won.
Yeah.
I already won. Yes, it's so good.
And nobody will see it when the podcast comes out. So it's a win-win all the way around.
See, that's what we needed right there. That's the encouragement I needed, John. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Do we want to jump into this? I thought you were going to hook me up with a bunch of other questions. Like I was just spitballing. Like you're the professional, Oscar.
Yeah,
I have been intensively writing. I'm going back to work in like 4 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm trying to get as much accomplished before I go back to my full-time job. So
You have one of those, a full-time job?
Yeah, I'm gonna be going back to it.
Didn't we just discuss like how lucrative the gaming industry was in writing? Can't believe you have a full-time job. You're actually working out here, dude.
Thank God I had medical disability, or
Honey, oh my God.
Yeah, it's been a long 9 months.
Jesus,
Been a
that's
long
so
time.
long, baby.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about me. We're
That's
talking
okay.
about Bridgett.
Listen, we're talking about us. We're here. We're
Probably
here. We
the
got it.
only person who's had a worse year than me.
I'm trying. I'm trying to keep up with you, babe. Again, I'm following my leadership here.
It's not a competition. Please stop. For your own sake, please stop.
Just as a total aside, I was talking to so let's talk about who I got COVID from. That's always a great story. So Keeper Dave from the Miskatonic University podcast decided to do a fly around the country and see all of his friends before the year ended.
Super Spreader Dave.
So he like went to Texas, he saw Keeper Merv, and he went somewhere else and saw somebody else. He came somewhere, he came to Ohio, and he's like, I'm gonna leave you the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh God.
He flies out, and the next day he calls me, which is already like, why are you calling me instead of texting me? What is going on right now? And the second I saw the phone ring and I looked down, I was like, this mother has COVID, doesn't he? And I answered the phone, I was like, babe. He's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, damn it.
God damn it, Dave.
I go and test while I'm talking to him on the phone, of course, a positive. And the whole thing that led into the story was 2023 has been nightmare levels of trash for me, like unprecedented levels of let's see how hard we can go on the paint. And at somewhere right after my birthday, which was December 9th, I was like, okay, had a good birthday. We're rocking and rolling. Thanksgiving is behind me. All I have to do is tackle Christmas. 2023 is almost out of here. 2023 can go to hell. I'm done. I made it. COVID. with 2 weeks left to go, 2023 was like, hold my beer.
Sucks.
Look,
What can you do? We're
at least
trucking.
we're not at the dying upside down on a ventilator stage of the COVID. Okay?
Let's have that conversation. That is a blessing.
You're going to be on the I'm snotty for 2 or 3 days, but thank God I'm vaccinated kind of COVID.
And God is good, and I am grateful for
Right.
that, because the first time I had it after Gen Con, I was in agonizing, excruciating, crippling pain, like in the bed crying at 3 o'clock in the morning on my phone going, will morphine make the pain stop? Like this, I can manage this one. This one is fine.
Was that pre-vax?
No, I was fully vaxxed and boosted up too, but it was my first time ever having it.
Right. It's bad. Yeah, I had 2 bad days, but I was double vaxxed when I finally, when the roulette wheel came around for me for COVID. I'd been double vaxxed, and it was like a bad flu for 48 hours.
Yeah.
So I guess I was lucky.
Listen, we'll take our wins where we can.
Right. So, John, have you had COVID yet?
I was just about to ask that
I
question.
have not.
Swing by Ohio.
Well, so here's the thing.
Can't wait to see you.
Well, you do live in a place in a state with very low population density.
Oh yeah.
When I went on a Savage Cruise in 2020, we were in New Orleans. Went to I don't remember the fuck we went. Came back to New Orleans Super Bowl weekend, right? Super Bowl weekend, came back, flew home, and people were getting sick on the ship, right? Because you're on a ship, everybody's touching everything, nobody washes their hands, right?
Right.
So I wound up getting sick, and like some of the like staff on the ship, they're like, it's not COVID, right? So we've been gone for. And I don't, I'm not watching the news or anything. Like, we're on the boat. What the fuck is COVID? What's this guy talking about?
Oh, man.
And then, left that in New Orleans, was home for a week. And then it was like New Orleans
explodes. It's like, God.
I might have had it on the cruise, but I don't think so, because it wasn't, or I was really, really lucky. Because it was more
Some
like
people
a cold.
get it and they don't even realize it. And then they end up with the antibodies, and they just for some people, there's probably just some weird genetic lineup that makes it like, I had the syphilis for a couple of days, and then there are other people. There are other people you're dead in a week.
Yeah.
So again, I can't say for sure.
We find them. I'm gonna say you haven't had it. That's what I'm gonna go with. That's what makes me feel good today, John. So damn it, that's what we're doing.
Knocking on wood.
All right. So are we going to dive into this?
No.
Yeah.
Let's do the damn thing. Come on, we got it.
Who is Bridgett Jeffries?
Is that the actual question?
Yes,
that's
it
the
is.
actual question.
I didn't prepare these.
How does
I stole that from you
to answer that one? That's pretty good. Who
is
Bridgett Jeffries?
Specifics? What's your sign?
Oh, okay, that's more specific. I can work with
There
that.
we go.
I am a
Good start.
Sagittarius, honey,
Sagittarius.
which means I love my freedom. I will hurt your feelings, but I'm also one of the biggest supporters you could possibly have. And I have a mouth on me. Send thoughts and prayers if you get me mad.
Okay, so you're from Ohio.
I'm from Ohio. Yep,
What
born
part
and
of
raised.
Ohio?
Akron, Ohio. Can either of
Akron,
you
okay.
tell me a fun fact about Akron, Ohio? There's a few.
I know that the rail lines there are absolutely fucking horrible and not straight.
I'm gonna give you that one. I feel like you could do better, but I'm still gonna give you that one. Oscar, do you have any fun facts that you know about Akron, Ohio?
I got nothing, but I know of some stuff about Ohio because my good friend Jeff Muller lives in Ohio.
Gotcha.
I know that you
know
guys just wrote abortion rights into your Constitution.
Yep.
Thank effing God.
Right. Oh, guys, congrats! I got control of my uterus back. I hate it.
So,
Anyways,
is Akron like I've been told Ohio is like outposts of civilization surrounded by red state nonsense.
I mean, homie, it's not quite that bad. It might be a little bit worse. So Ohio, if you're looking at Ohio, this is sitting in Great Lake regions between, I think that's Indiana or Illinois is next door, I should know, and Pennsylvania. Akron is in Northeast Ohio. Fun fact, Steph Curry, was born there. This is LeBron James, home of LeBron James. He came out of Akron. Yeah. Rubber capital of the world. Something about hamburgers. And some really other fun facts that you can learn if you pick up Hometown Horrors, which is the Miskatonic Repository production.
There you go.
Aha, nice plug. You're welcome, Evan.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. It's on the list. We'll get there.
Yeah. So, born and raised in Akron, Ohio. Yes.
Not yet 30. Yes. No. I'm not asking specifics.
Listen, I love you so much for that compliment. Nah, homie. We passed 30 a while ago.
All right. That's why you're a grown up.
Look at God.
Have you hung out with many 20-year-olds these days?
Listen,
they're terrible.
They're a struggle. I can't do them, babe. I cannot do them. They're a struggle and a half. Yeah. So nope. We're past 30.
I have two of them. They're both my kids are in their 20s still. So
yeah, you're looking good to have kids in your 20 though. You're doing your thing.
Well, this is what happens when you get married, like right out of college.
Gotcha. Yeah, fair.
Okay, so not married.
Not married. Nope. Asexual as hell.
Asexual as hell.
Yep.
All
Big
right.
time.
Entrepreneur.
Yes, that is a fact. Yeah.
Dog lover.
Massive dog lover.
Until
that was
recently.
my first business. Until recently. No, I'm still a dog lover. I just got
that particular
burnt out with dogs. Yeah. If you're looking to figure out where Oscar was going with that, I am a massive dog lover. I love dogs to death. But my first actual business that I had was Cafe Wakefern. It was a dog boarding business that I ran out of my home. And at one point in my glory days of 2019, I could run I had 2 to 3 1099 contractors on staff, and I could run anywhere up to about 32 dogs a day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good times for everything except for my property and my sanity. The dogs had a blast though. That was Disney World.
And recently your face.
And recently my face. That's good times too. Oh, we can see it.
It does. I can't see a damn thing. You're good.
I'll send you a zoomed in picture so you can enjoy it. I can send you the bloody ones too if you like them.
No, that's good. I've had enough blood and gore in my year. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Role player.
No, what's that? Yes, I am a massive tabletop role player. I love it. It's my favorite form of gaming.
Author.
Was there a question when I was coughing?
Author.
Yes, I'm allegedly one of those as well. Yes. I do write. That's the thing.
What do you have out? What are you most proud of that's been published?
Oh, what am I most proud of? That's such a deep question.
Doesn't have to be what's most successful. What are you most proud of?
Oh, gonna have to say the content that I'm most proud of is probably the Miskatonic Shoreside Conservatory. That is a limited campaign that I wrote with the permission of Graham Walmsley under Cthulhu Dark. And that's probably my favorite thing that I have written. Yeah.
Cool. Podcast.
You find that campaign on Symphony on streaming?
Yes.
YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm surprised I didn't clip my mic on that one. So Symphony did a 5-series run on it that you can check at Symphony's YouTube. That's YouTube youtube.com/@Symphony Entertainment. Graham Walmsley came on and also streamed a one-shot version of that campaign, which was delicious. And if you're a fan of Ain't Slayed Nobody, myself, Cuppy Cup, Nick, and Josephine Baker. It's not Josephine Baker. I am so tired. Josephine McAdams, sorry. All
Josephine
streamed
Baker, that would have been awesome.
that would have been amazing. Like I brought her back from the dead to do
Man
this. It was
stuff.
amazing.
He didn't show up.
Jesus, I love COVID brain. I did an amazing run over there on Ain't Slayed Nobody. So it's been episodes 1 and 2 have been released to backers so far. Main feed should be able to start getting it early January, February, or March, I believe.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you take the
Well,
next
that's
one.
all about me.
Yeah.
Good show, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
That's all right.
So how did you become involved in the hobby, and what is it that made you want to stay?
Oh, you know what? As an aside, I get asked that first question a lot. I've never been asked that second question. What makes you want to stay? That's actually beautifully brilliant, John. Okay, so rapid fire. How did I get into the hobby? It was. Let me take you guys back.
Way
It was way back. Little Bridgett Jeffries. I wasn't little in high school either, but little Bridgett Jeffries was in 10th grade AP calculus, running her damn mouth to one of her friends. Because Bridgett talks a lot. That has been consistent for the entirety of my life. It was the reason my brother stopped liking me when I was like, there's a reason my brother stopped liking me when I was like 3 or 4. So I'm running my mouth. My teacher tells me to be quiet. I'm like, whatever. And I continue running my mouth. And he goes, all right, cool. You're in detention. And Bridgett was flabbergasted. You're going to correct me? You're going to discipline me? The audacity. So anyways, I got my ass put into detention. And as I'm sitting in detention in whatever period it is, 7th, 8th period, my AP calculus teacher goes to the whiteboard at the time and he's drawing like a mountain and a tower and a map and and my curiosity winded up overriding my pure irritation and annoyance that I was put into detention. I was like, all right, what are you doing? What are you drawing? And this was Mr. Fox. And he starts telling me about this quote unquote game that he's running. At the time, this was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And he's telling me about these mountains and these hills and this far, far away land and this castle. And there's a dragon and there's a princess. And he's telling me about these characters. And guys, this is Bridgett Jeffries in 10th grade. So I'm what, a 16-year-old black teenager in inner city Columbus or Akron, Ohio. I don't know what the fuck a game is. Gaming was the last. I've never been exposed to any form of role playing at this point by anyone. He was just telling me this really cool story. So at the end of this story, he was telling me they were having the game that night. It was Friday, and that they were going to go try to save the princess, which is something I can easily relate to. We all know the princess in the tower, dragon, knights, blah, blah, blah story. So I come back into class Monday, not in detention. And I asked him, like, hey, Mr. Fox, what happened with the princess? He's like, oh, yo, so blah, blah, blah happened. The princess died. She died. Wasn't expecting that because the princess always gets saved out of the tower. Like even in Shrek, the princess, spoiler alert. The movie's probably 20 years old at this point.
Don't say that.
I know, babe. We are not getting younger, baby. I was like, what do you mean the princess died? And he's like, oh, the swashbuckler fumbled this and da-da-da-da-da. So the next Monday I go in and I ask him what happened at game. And the following Monday I ask him what happened at game. And finally he was like, hey, do you want to come and game with us? Again, I am a 16-year-old black kid in high school. My white male instructor is inviting me to his house, his buddy's house, to hang out in the basement after hours, after school with his other 40, 50, 60-year-old white buddies. Lots of potential issues here. Mr. Fox had a conversation with my mother. My mother had a conversation with Mr. Fox. They outlined some very strong boundaries, communication expectations, because I think I had a cell phone back then. What time I would be home, who was responsible for what, and a really big point, if my grades ever slipped, I was bumped out of the game. And most importantly, as weird as it sounds, that the administration couldn't know about us. Because again, there's some problems there. That is how I got introduced into gaming through Mr. Fox's basement with his friends, playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Champions, and BattleTech.
Wow.
That's where we started. What made me stay? I genuinely love storytelling. I really do. Like even telling you this story is enjoyable for me. I like telling stories. And at the very core of role-playing games, it's storytelling. And I'm always here for stories.
Right. Right. Cool.
I got to
Well,
remember that question.
Do we all want to feel really depressed for a minute?
Maybe. Depends. How depressed? Give me a
Shrek-
scale of 1 to 10.
Shrek came out 22 years ago.
Fuck me.
Damn it.
Did it really?
April 22nd, 2001.
Well, so let me follow up because I forget because I have a brain like a
I hate
friggin'
you,
like a
Oscar.
rabbit.
You're such a jerk.
Hey, look, being old is the reward for staying alive. It's
Yeah.
I'm gonna
all
go with that, too.
perspective, baby. It's all perspective. It
Good
is
point.
not a curse. It is a privilege.
It is a privilege. It's a blessing. I'll take it 21 years ago, 22 years ago. Ugh. Go ahead, John. Sorry, my bad, baby. I'm annoyed.
So how did that color your experience, right? As a young Black woman to come into that situation, right? Because we hear, so many terrible stories about not only, female players, but,
Mm.
female and African American together, right? I mean, enough trust with the teacher to go, but right, like it feels like your experience is contrary to what a lot of other people would experience. Did that? How did it color things for you moving forward? Then, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's a good question. It's something I hadn't considered until you started asking the question. Spaghetti at the wall here, John, just on initial thoughts. One, as far as an introduction into the hobby, I had a very safe, controlled introduction into the hobby. I didn't know all the people that were in that basement originally, but I had a figure of trust there, which was my AP calculus teacher.
Mhm.
Because everyone knew the risks with me being involved in that basement, it kind of heightened the awareness of everything. So that group swarmed me from a safety standpoint, because if anything went down at that table, that was a reflection on their friend and his fucking career.
So obviously you were treated with possibly a great deal more respect than most women who start out in role playing.
100% absolutely. Because one, I was in a controlled environment with a group of friends that had been doing this for a while. There were a lot of risks and liabilities on the line where you could kind of leverage other people because there was so much riding on this.
Mhm.
Two, I came in as a baby, guys. I'm a 16-year-old Black kid, and the youngest other person at this table is like 42, 43 years old.
Yeah.
So I got mollycoddled. In a way, I was very insulated. I was very protected in a way. And I did that for 2 years up until I left college. Until that point, John, I didn't game with anyone else. So they set the pace for me. That environment set the safety standard for me. I didn't start getting hit with the bullshit that people of color and women get hit until I left that table. And then I was like, y'all, oh God, so y'all like this out here too?
Your first con must have been a awakening.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bridgett is used to walking into situations, professionally, academically, wherever, where I'm one of 5 or 6 Black people. That ain't new for me. That's fine. But the unicorn effect that has, where it's like, there's a person of color right there. I bet she knows nothing about gaming. Or, I mean, I can get into con experiences all day long with the horror stories of being a woman or being Black, and God help you being both in conventions. But I didn't get hit. I didn't get slapped with that stuff, John, until after I left a network of safety, a literal safety net where my protection and my safety was like one of the first things on everyone's mind. So I was fortunate there.
When you did, like, hit your first con or like look for your next group or whatever, did you move forward with like not a sense of invulnerability, right? But with sort of a shield, like a bubble of like, oh, this is like, people are cool and like this is fun and I'm going to be accepted. And then so I guess the initial experience was like, oh yeah, there's that pushback, and like, oh yeah, no, people still suck. Like, there's assholes everywhere.
But also people suck, but she knows they're not all like that because she started from a place that was very safe and supportive.
Right.
So at least she was able to know there's better stuff, there's better situations out there, and then go looking for it. I think a lot of women, people of color, regardless of gender, when they enter the first public gaming spaces, they don't have that background.
They don't.
Yeah.
And they don't stick with the hobby.
Correct.
Yeah,
it's very easy to get turned away at the door. So, John, this is a no bullshit story. I'm gonna tell you exactly how this shit happens. I'm in college. I didn't game my freshman year because it was just this freshman year. I went to Florida State, so I was out of state. I was trying to get my bearings together. But my sophomore year, I finally was rooted enough to go like, all right, I want to start exploring gaming again. I didn't know how to start. So I went to the local comic book shop. in Tallahassee, Florida, that had like the little gaming section in the back. And there were those looking for player
Bulletin
Cool.
boards.
bulletin
tags
boards
or
with
whatever.
the tags on it where you can rip off and all of this like a phone number and a name. So before I continue forward, let's rewind really fast. I went to an inner city elementary school, and then I went to a performing arts middle school where I was one of 3 Black people in the entire area. Then I went back to an inner city Black school. So my code switching game was perfected pretty early on. I'm gonna because that matters. Press play. I pulled down the sticker or the little tag, and I said, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to call this person. At that time, I believe this table was playing maybe D&D, or this might have been Vampire the Masquerade. I don't necessarily remember because the door got slammed in my face and I wasn't able to play. Let's pick up the story again. So I call the number, and the guy's like, hi. I said, hey, I found your information on blah, 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 blah. He's like, oh, yeah, we posted there. You know, what's your gaming experience? I was like, oh, I played a little bit in high school, but I took a year off. And oh, my God, that sounds great. Da-da-da. Come on, this is our group. We'll da-da-da. We'll meet. And if you're a good fit, we'll go ahead and da-da-da-da. I get in my car. I get my dice. I get whatever my stuff is together. I drive to this apartment complex. I park. And I go and I knock on the front door. Now, obviously, I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm out here alone, you know, but it's also college. So you do that shit on the regular. Be like, you hope for the best. So,
I probably won't get murdered tonight. It's fine.
Absolutely not. Yeah, my parents would for sure hear from me again. So I knock on the door. Big overbearing white guy opens the door. He looks at me and looks me dead in my face. Now, mind you, I'm expected. Game starts at 6. I'm here at like 5:45. I'm expected. He opens the door, looks me dead in my face. He's like, who the fuck are you? Oh, okay. Cool. I was like, hi, I'm Bridgett. He stops and he looks at me. He dresses me up and down. He says, you're Bridgett? I said, yeah, I'm here for the door closed right in my face.
Wow.
Can I counter with a story? Quite similar, but different outcome.
Go for it.
My D&D group went through some upheaval way back, you know, and we were looking to start a new game, and you know, the core people were there and all the deadweight troublemakers were gone, but we needed 1 or 2 more players to really have a solid group. So we put something up online. Somebody answered, called us. We had a phone conversation. They sounded really cool, and they agreed to come to the next game. And just from the sound of their voice, I was pretty sure that they were Black.
Okay.
Just, you know, I'm a New Yorker. I've grown up around every shade.
Yeah.
So and up until then, I and my wife were the only Hispanic players in the D&D group.
Okay.
And I go to my friend Joe. I said, Joe, I don't know if it matters or not, but I'm pretty sure that Greg's Black.
Okay.
He said, I don't give a fuck if he's purple as long as he can play. And Greg showed up and became, for many, many years, one of our best friends. We got drunk with him. He got into bar fights with us, not me personally, because I didn't go to the bar because I knew my friend Dave liked to start fights, and he got drunk. So I'm like, I'm not going, guys. Him and his mom spent Thanksgiving at my house. I mean, he was like my bro.
Yeah.
For years. I mean, he moved down south, so you know. So Greg Graves, if you're out there, much love and great memories. But that was our group. That was like, I don't give a fuck what he is. He could be purple for all I care. As long as
he can play, let's go. Yeah.
So I'm sorry you didn't have that experience, but like, you know, there are good people out there, and
there are some that are not. Yeah.
Right.
Not every people are your people, honey. Go find your people.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Like, it's just so stupid.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Not every like group of people are going to work together, right? Like, it's hard to find players, right? Because you have a certain play style or whatever. But like that, like, you're just a fucking piece of shit. Like, that's not, you know.
Like, she sounded white on the phone, but that is not a white girl. Door closed right on my face.
Look, if we put out an ad for a new gamer in a group, and you know, at this point, I don't have a Muslim friend. I don't have an Arabic friend. But if like a Muslim Arabic person came in to play, I'd be like, F yeah, this is great. You know,
Let's go.
I can't wait to get invited to one of your barbecues. This is gonna be awesome. It says, I'm gonna throw colored dust at a parade at your house with you. I'm gonna get exposed to all, you know. I'd be like, this is awesome. I get exposed to a whole new culture. And
Babe,
a whole
not
new set of
everyone is
experience.
wired like that.
And there are other people like, no, I just want what I have, and I'm what I'm useful, and anything different makes me afraid. And I'd be like, so when's Ramadan? Like what are we eating?
Teach me.
Yes.
Yeah.
One
Let's
of the
go
big
to a
things.
restaurant and tell me what to order.
One of the things I absolutely love about new players, and one of the things I love about diverse players, especially that you don't see in the quote unquote standard gaming market. John, I told you earlier, I love stories. New players and diverse players enhance stories in some of the most beautifully creative and challenging perspective ways. It just adds so much organic to the storytelling, because you got these new players that are like, they're not jaded and everything is fresh and they don't have a problem leaping out there. And you're just like, I remember when I still had that charge. That's yep, let's go with that, because I love the fact that you're not trying to adhere to any norms of what you've been conditioned into or what someone has scared or beaten out of you as a role player because they didn't like your style. You come as you are, and I live under new players. Diverse players are the same way, because they are going to bring something to the storytelling aspect that I'm not familiar with. And not only can I learn, but I can experience their world through this game, even if it's small, subtle things. So yeah, no, to your point, Oscar, yeah, no, bring me those people. I'm here for that. Teach me something new today.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, so it's sort of a non sequitur, but also sort of building on that, different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
So, because I wrote in the show notes that I need to take a minute to gush about the Regency Cthulhu mini campaign that you guys ran for the Old Ways podcast.
Yes.
It was phenomenal. Like, it was some of the best storytelling, players, like from top to bottom, like out fucking standing. Like, it was amazing. I laughed, I cried, like no shit though.
Thank
Like,
you. Holy shit. Thank you.
Good. And different, GN players, whatever. Like, it was just such a complete, like, that's like, we have fun, we fuck around, right? I play games with my friends. And occasionally we bring new people in and they become new friends. But like, that's the kind of gaming experience that I aspire to. Like, it was
holy shit, John. Thank you, babe.
So good. It was just so good.
Oh my God, baby. Thank you so much. That was easily one of my favorite, probably my top 3 runs of anything that I've ever run. Cast brought their A game. That was Michael Diamond, Noobish Indian Girl, and then John Casey. And it was an absolutely brilliant game. If you guys get a chance, that is, as John already said, that's Echoes in the Mist, my Regency Cthulhu campaign over on the Old Ways podcast. And Oscar held my hand on this damn scenario for about 2 months while my shit was falling apart. This will be ready Q1 for imprint at the Miskatonic Repository. It will be ready Q1 of 2024. It took me over a year to write it, despite the fact that I haven't been writing for the entire year. Just, I'm dealing with grief in the background. And as Oscar has coached me through a significant amount of it, it's been a very big challenge for me to write while I've been grieving. So I have a cover for it. All the art is ready. It's in layout right now. I need to write maybe 1,500 more words, which I probably could have done today while I was fucking around not doing anything, but here we go.
Self-care. Self-care is important. You need to step back.
We are where we are, but it should be out. Echoes in the Mist should be out for 2024 Q1. We are working on it. It's really close. Bridgett just needs to be able to push it over the finish line.
Excellent. And it dovetails in. I want to bring it back because talking about different perspectives, to listen to Noob play that character as as
an Indian woman,
and to her, like, her interpretation of the experience of someone would have gone through what the character had gone through, the horror stuff side. To be in that situation was so like it is crazy, right? It's not like you playing it or me playing it or something like that's her collectively background. That was so good. It was so informative, interesting. Like, I throw adjectives at it. Like, it was just really cool. Yeah.
Baby, thank you so much for that. And just to tie into what John is saying, so one of the big things that I told Mike Diamond on the front end of that podcast when Regency Cthulhu just come out and we were going to do Regency, and when you think Regency Cthulhu, if you're not doing Bridgett and Imagining originally in your head, I haven't seen that show, but if you're not doing that, it's all white people and balls doing petty romantic fall in love shit. And one of the things I was going to be very specific about, and Mike completely agreed with me, met me literally in the center of the playing field. It's like, I refuse to play a game or run a game or write a game that's Regency so white. Y'all can kick rocks with that. We're going to have people of color. We're going to have representation in this damn scenario. This isn't all pretty white girls in ball dresses. So that was something I did on the front end. And then we recruited Noob. And to John's point, the bulk of the scenario is 2 white naval officers are escorting a Indian wealthy merchant's daughter across the seas, and then they have to walk her through the coming out, debutante balls in Regency era. And the things that noobish Indian girl described, how she tied back to her culture, even down to, hey, what does your dress look like? And she starts going through this entire garb description. I was like, is that what your dresses look like underneath at weddings? Really? Or, oh, this reminds me of this particular holiday. And this holiday, these are the foods that we ate. And I'm sitting back and was like, I had to Oscar's point, you get around some people that aren't your people, you can learn and flesh out some really, 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 really beautiful things. Because John, to your point, I learned a lot following behind that character too. Because I gave her the agency to describe her own shit. And she's like, cool, I'm going to describe my actual shit. And it was stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Thank you for that. I'll make sure Mike hears this episode.
Yeah. All right.
My favorite color is green. I know you guys wanted to know. It's green.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Miskatonic Repository. How did you get involved? What's it all about? What's the future look like?
Yeah. So my full-time job is I work for Chaosium Incorporated. They have a series of, they have a community content platform, which basically means you can go self-publish your own playable content without having to, buy a license outright for Call of Cthulhu. I'm thinking Johnstown Compendium, but that's actually for RuneQuest, 7th Sea, and then soon for Pendragon. So I'm one of the ambassadors of those programs. So basically I'm a hype girl. I'm a coach. I answer questions. I connect you to different resources. I keep you in compliance. I can help you from
Booth Minion.
Say it again.
Booth Minion.
Booth Minion. I'm trying to get out of being a booth minion. Listen, I'm fat. My feet hurt. That ain't my life, baby. Put me on a panel or let me go run a game for somebody. I can take you from, I have this really cool idea for Call of Cthulhu all the way being, I'm actually published for Call of Cthulhu. So if you need help with something like that, if you want to be inspired, if you want the community, the network, feel free to email me at Bridgett. That's a bridge that you walk across with 2 T's at chaosium.com. That is what the Miskatonic Repository is. That is the community content program for Call of Cthulhu. How did I get into it? It's a great ass question, Oscar. How did I get into it? I had published my first scenario in Beit Al-Azif issue number 2. That was with Jared.
Until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
Because even though people were telling me, oh, your stuff is so great, you just have that. What if I try and fail? Then I won't even have the dream.
Yeah.
I would rather have the dream than, have tried and failed. And that's like loser mentality. Eventually, that penguin has to dive into the water.
At some point, it has to. It has to.
Or it's not a penguin. Yeah.
I like the penguin. And it needs to dive into the water. You need to dive into the water because I know you have you listener. I know you have a cool idea that you've been meaning to write, or you have it on a hard drive somewhere on a sticky note in your mind. It's time. Let me go ahead and be the person to tell you right now.
It's tragic because some of the most creative people who've run games for me, they have a mental block that they just can't write it down.
Yeah.
And you look at their notes and it's like 7 lines of hieroglyphics and a squiggle. And they put on 4 hours of amazing content.
Yeah.
And you're like, you have publish this. He goes, I can't write. I've got it all in my head. I can't write. It just breaks my heart.
That was me. I ran all of my games off of sticky notes. And then someone was like, Jared Smith of Beit Al-Azif approached me and said, hey, I heard you ran this amazing game called Beasts of Gévaudan, and I want you to write it up for my magazine. And I was like, oh, I don't write games. I can't. He's like, cool. So you're going to write this game for me, and it's going to be great, and I'm going to teach you how. That's
Yeah.
the only
I can
reason.
teach you how to write. I can't teach you to have good ideas.
Correct.
If you've got good ideas, I can teach you the rest. If you've got a good imagination, find a mentor and learn to write.
And go.
Right.
And go. And go. And go. And again, if you're looking to publish, find a mentor, to Oscar's point, or Chaosium, if you're looking to do Call of Cthulhu, literally has a damn class that's $39. It starts off with, I have a cool idea, or maybe I don't. And 30 days later, you're literally published on the Miskatonic repository. You don't have to have a dissertation. There's content up there that's 1,300 pages or 1,300 words on a damn pamphlet. The only thing that's stopping you from writing is you.
Right.
That's it. I quit.
I quit the hell with this. I didn't come here for this type of violence. I'm gonna sit on my own hypocrisy too, because I haven't written in a year because of my grief. But what the fuck ever. Here we go. You should be writing though. So, anyways, once I got over the fear, I mean, Oscar's 100% right. Once I realized I could do it, there's that addictive component on the back end where you're like, well, now I need to do it again, and now I need to do it again. I've never had a tattoo, but I hear tattoos are like that. Once you get one, you can't stop. That's the same thing. Once you conquer that fear and you realize that that was an illusion, that was a lie that you told yourself, then suddenly you're like, shit, I have a whole lot of great ideas.
Okay.
I could be publishing all of these.
Can I? I'm gonna wind back a little bit. Did you go through a phase after like your third or fourth project where you're like afraid I'm gonna run out of ideas? And then they just kept coming and coming and coming.
Babe, I don't think I went through I'm going to run out of ideas. I did go through do all my scenarios sound the same? Am I diversifying my storytelling enough, or am I pigeonholing my storytelling? So that might be not good ideas.
Girl, I had a reviewer that once wrote, Oscar goes back to his familiar tropes of children. And I'm like, oh, and I've never written another scenario. That was probably like 10 years ago. I have never written another child-centric scenario ever. I'll have you rescuing a dog down a well before I have you rescuing a child.
You can go get Rover, but it ain't gonna be little Billy.
I felt so called out. And there was one player I loved. Just we're bullshitting. It's like they learn from you. And they learn what to expect.
Yeah.
And they were like, they come out of this cave, and he just says, oh, I wonder if we could see that spooky monastery from here. And I said, yes, you can see the monastery on top of the cliffs outside of this cave. And he said, we probably look up, and there's a bolt of thunder, there's a bolt of lightning behind it, and some bats. I'm like, you fuck.
I hate you. Don't read me like that today.
It made me like, no, I need to push. I need to do different things. I need to explore ideas. I can't stay in this comfort zone because they are calling me on my shit.
Because it's really easy to do. So I didn't go through, I don't have any good ideas. I did go, do all my ideas sound the same?
Yeah.
Like recycling myself. So I did go through that phase.
At least you didn't have it on the internet on a review. So.
Oh, I'm sure it is somewhere. Listen, people love talking. But yeah, that's how I got into the Miskatonic repository. I got over my own fears. I got over myself. I was like, ooh, I want to do this again. So I hopped on it again. And Jared was like, hey, Chaosium has a thing where you can be publishing Call of Cthulhu and you ain't got to pay for a license. I was like, that sounds delicious. Let's go do that.
Back in my day, it was the monograph.
It was the monograph.
And I put out a bunch of those. So. And one of them became an actual Chaosium release. So
see, look at you.
My first.
Got over that fear, baby.
Yeah. Nice. And honestly, everybody out there who's thinking they don't have what it takes, you won't know until you try. And unless you try, you are handing the universe a victory over yourself.
Yep. Agreed. And
even if you try and
when this
fail,
is over,
try again. What?
And the second,
I'm going to drink when this is over.
John, I'm sorry, we can change the subject. What you want to talk about, babe? What's the next question? We ain't going to antagonize you no more.
Fine.
John, if you contacted me directly, we can get you published.
What draws you to horror? What draws you to the weird, the esoteric, the eldritch? I mean, what is it about cosmic horror that grabs you or pulls you in? Or does it?
So
let me not assume.
Yeah, so horror is definitely my happy place. Hard stop. Horror is my happy place. It's not necessarily always cosmic horror. I've ventured out of there. My palette changes on the day. But as a rule, if we're doing like food genres, horror is my default that I can always go to and I can find some comfort. Why? I absolutely love the emotional beats that horror brings as far as storytelling. I absolutely live in those moments. Horror for me activates obviously your fear response, which kind of dives deep into that vulnerability aspect of humanity. What makes you think, what makes you breathe, what makes you fear, how does this affect your senses and things of that nature. And when you're dealing with a concept that's as intimate as fear, the immersion kicks up for me. And if I'm fully immersed, if I'm rooted into the game, you can dog walk me through any scenario you want. It won't matter. Horror hits the emotional beats for me that other genres just don't.
Especially when you get a good table. You have good players that all buy in.
Oh god.
It's
Especially if they're really attached, if they get attached to their characters,
Oh god. Oh, it's so
and the game
delicious.
still has that lethality to it.
Oh my gosh. And give me some agency. Give me, even if it's the illusion of choice. I can affect the world. My decisions matter. What my character wants matters. Oh, honey, just give it to me. I love it. I absolutely cannot get enough of it.
And
Go ahead.
the next level of that is when you're in a long-term campaign and then your keeper starts writing character-specific adventures.
Yes.
There's nothing better than that.
Spotlight me, baby. Let's talk about what's going on with my character. Yeah, and that's just horror does that immersion for me, for Bridgett, Nakia Jeffries, in a way that other genres just don't hit. I'm not saying throwing a 20d6 fireball isn't fun, but that doesn't hit the emotional beats for me. That I'm upstairs hiding in a closet and I hear something knock over in the room next door to me.
right. And that's the thing with the heroic fantasy, right? Like I still play D&D despite WotC's whatever. But it's not the same thing. Like, I think it said in the 4E player's handbook, like you're better, like your starting level character is better than like the village people, whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like you're already like set apart.
Yeah.
And like that's not like I don't like it's fun on some level, but it doesn't hit the way that horror or other genres hit, right? Because you're expected to win. You're expected to kill the monsters or the bad guy or whatever it is. Where that's not the case necessarily in horror. Like you might not survive, right? Like that's the
agreed. Fantasy games, in my opinion, are about empowerment and the cool things that you can do when you're empowered. No. Granted, I'm sure that table, the table that I joined when I was in 10th grade, they were all that princess might have been somebody's little sister or could have been their spouse. They could have had their whole, conscience or morality or ethics riding on saving it, and then they failed. Yeah, that misery, that pain, that disappointment probably hurt those characters if they were bought into that level. But as a rule, in Bridget's experience, I am not shitting on how other people play games. It's gaming. Go get what you want from the experience and have fun. Horror just hits a different beat for me.
To chime in, I haven't played fantasy in a long time, but as John can attest to, I do like my space opera.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm an old school Star Frontier guy. I'm actually an editor for Star Frontiersman.
I didn't know that, Oscar. Go figure.
Yeah. It's a fanzine. There's again what my mentor said. There's no money in it.
We do it because we love it.
I get to write Star Frontiers games. I'm running I've run Star Frontier. Whenever I do a con, I try and do one Star Frontier game. And then there'll be a bunch of 50-year-old people like, oh my God, someone's running Star Frontiers, and they'll flock to it.
It's like, yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and the game universe is amazing. TSR won't release the license. I know because I was part of a group that tried to buy it and relaunch Star Frontiers a couple of years ago. But I've never cried or made a player cry running Star Frontiers.
Yeah.
I have never had a group passionately debate what the hell are we going to do playing Star Frontiers.
Yeah.
I have never had a group decide to let the bad guys win because they were too terrified to take them on
Yeah.
in Star Frontiers or indeed, but in Call of Cthulhu, that happens all the time.
In horror, honey, it's just a different vibe. Now, I am going to say this much, just as we're talking about fantasy games. There's one fantasy game that I have encountered that got close to scratching that itch that I enjoy, and that's Chaosium's Rune Quest. And so Bridgett hates combat. I really do. Fuck combat. I'm not here for it. I don't enjoy it. It is what it is. It's gaming. Come for what you want to get and then leave. This is the beautiful thing. Not everything is for everybody. But Rune Quest combat specifically has a set of mechanics where versus I roll a d20. My total is a 26. I hit it. I do 4 points of damage. It has this mechanic that goes, okay, I'm getting ready to roll my percentile because it's BRP-ish. But before I roll, I'm going to augment my roll. Hi, Kita. With this cool emotional aspect for my backstory. Maybe I have something in my backstory that says I have a hatred of bullies. Well, in this particular encounter, Oscar is being bullied by John. John is, mocking his work ethic or his religion, and that's triggering the hatred of bullies. So now I'm going to activate my hatred of bullies, and now I get a bonus 20% to this roll. Or I am walking into Oscar's hometown and our tribes have had a long-standing just animosity. And I have this thing on my sheet that says I have a hatred of the man, the myth, the legend of the tribe. Okay, well, I can activate that mechanic and suddenly I get a plus 20% from this. Or I can walk into a combat with John where I'm in love with his little sister, and this is the moment where I have to, fight the brother in order to marry the woman that I love, and I can do what I have a love of Victorina. So those moments in Rune Quest strike that emotional nerve for me, because it pulls into your backstory and it pulls into your passions, it pulls into what your character wants to help manifest those moments in game. I did want to at least mention that.
Yeah. But I think the other thing with horror too is it's cathartic, on some level. And, it exposes you to the horror, but you have, in a meta sense, have control over it, right? Like it's, even the unknown is known to some degree because we're playing a game. Like as much as we may be immersed, like I know the spiders aren't going to get me, right?
Yeah.
But like, if I have a phobia of spiders, and you can, I don't see you can manage or mitigate it, right? Because that's not really the thing. But like it allows you to play around with it and give you some agency over, you know what I mean? Like it really, I don't know. Like we joke around a lot of times. Like it's therapy when we play, right? Like
it can be.
I don't want to play like this. I feel like shit. Like I'm, whatever. And then you play, you're like, oh my God, it was so good. I totally needed that, blah, blah, blah. And you get more of that bounce from horror, weirdly enough, that it just kind of pulls that through.
So, John, I am going to say this. I've never said it before, and I don't know if I'm going to believe myself after I say it, but I'm going to say part of that. And Oscar, let me know if you agree on this one. I could be hella wrong. I'm going to leap out there and go for it. John, I think a lot of that is horror activation your nervous system. And there's something about the activation of your nervous system that can really like shoot you with, I don't know if it's adrenaline or indifference or whatever it is, but that nervous system activation, that fight or flight that kicks in is a really good way to go. Like, it's like doing a line of storytelling. You're like, whoa, here we go. That's what I'm going with. I've never said that out loud before, but I'm going to try it. Oscar, do you agree with that or not?
I just looked this up. Apparently, the fear response releases both cortisol and adrenaline.
Cortisol and adrenaline. Damn, I was close. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, there is a physical exhilaration that comes from experiencing fear.
Yeah. And John, to your point, yes, I understand it's a game. Now, depending on I don't fuck with spiders, and I will redline that every day. And if it's a game with spiders, I'm not going to play in it because I don't enjoy that particular form of horror. It is what it is. But apparently, like I don't know, eviscerating me and chopping me up in 40 places, I'm completely good with. But to your point, it is a game that we're playing. There's a separation between content and real life, but that content, to what Oscar just pulled, does have a physical manifestation in real life. So it totally makes sense that we leave games Like I've left games, especially streamed games or podcast games where the performance levels were real high and the immersion was better, where I couldn't sleep for the first 3 or 4 hours. I would have to do something to manually dial my nervous system back just to get to sleep because I was so amped up or I was so riled up. Also, the separation between content and player. If you genuinely love that character, yes, you're threatening the life of a character, but you're threatening the existence of something that I do care about. That's enough to have you go.
And it's got to be there, right? Because if there is no fear of losing that character, then really what's the point in playing? Not that you don't have good experience, you're telling good stories, whatever, but if there's not the chance that this character might not make it, it's almost for nothing, on some level, right? Again,
I can't wait to hear this one.
Vary. Yeah.
I'm ready, Oscar. Let's go.
I'll burst in with my rebuttal.
Yeah.
That's the old man in you talking. Because new gamers, young gamers, people in their 20s, they don't understand mortality. They don't understand loss because they haven't suffered. They haven't lost a parent or a loved one. They haven't had their heart broken. They haven't buried a beloved dog or a pet. They don't have the respect for mortality. They would be like, well, what's the point of playing a game? I've heard time and time and time again. What's the point of playing a game where I'm just going to go insane and die? You know what? That's life. Life is the struggle to maintain life and sanity.
Yeah.
Especially now.
And
Honey, John.
People in teenagers don't play. Well, not all. Teenagers usually play games that have a power fantasy mechanic.
D&D. It's everybody's start.
Because they're in a place where in their lives where they feel they don't have control and that they are powerless.
Oh, so they play
and
something that gives them power.
That need. When you get to your 30s and 40s and beyond, like a lot of gray hair here,
like us,
you start to look at life different because you know it's not going to last forever. And you cherish those every days. And when you play that character with your 11 fucking hit points and a leather coat that has 1 point of armor, and a 45 can do 12 points on one shot, and that's a gun. Forget about all the monsters and the magic and the falling rocks and the haunted houses.
Falling rocks.
Hey, I know. Falling rocks. But like Call of Cthulhu players love life. And that's why they play a game where life is so precious and so fragile. To celebrate that. And you start to see the value in a legacy and a meaningful death because you accept that everyone's going to die at some point. If you talk to Call of Cthulhu players at a bar, by the third round, what is everybody talking about?
Oh, their best death. Their best death.
They wear that like a badge. And
yes.
I have it. Every Call of Cthulhu player has at least one character death story that is so ridiculously funny or interesting or tragic that that's their go-to cocktail story.
Yeah.
D&D players don't have that time that I died.
Yeah, it's more that cool thing that I did.
That cool thing that I did.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I'm actually directly in between you guys on this one. If we're going for the mortality is a goal, mortality isn't a goal, I think I'm somewhere in between. I walk into horror games understanding that my character might not walk off the table, no matter how much I may love them. I'm interested in the other things that you can make me lose in the course of the story. Can you make me lose my dignity, my sense of pride? Can you make me compromise my morals? Can you make me lose the love I have of this item or this person? It's those other losses that I really enjoy exploring in game, especially anything that challenges not the ROI on an emotional situation, but kind of like the ROI on the emotional situation. Is it okay to sacrifice this 7-year-old if it'll save the entire town?
Yeah, I love that. I love that shit. Yeah.
I'm the one that has to be the adult in this situation and make that decision. I'm the one that has to look that 7-year-old in the face and make that decision. challenge me with those type of losses, the loss of my humanity, and those are the moments that will really stick with me, because I already know this character may or may not make it, despite how hard I try to keep him alive.
Right.
Yeah,
So I think I'm straddling between you guys, at least where I am with my palette currently.
What I most like to explore in gaming now, at this point in my life, is the nature of heroism.
Oh, what is a hero? We've had this conversation. Yep.
Right. It's easy to be a hero when you're immortal, or you're invulnerable, or you're powerful.
Correct.
When you're vulnerable and you're normal and you're just Joe Schmo, and there's risk, and you could choose to either let the bad thing happen and go on with your life, or put your life on the line to stop the bad thing from happening so that other people might be saved.
Yeah.
That's what I like to explore. And sometimes the players, I'm not going to say they fail in that moment, because maybe they're not meant to win. Maybe it is hopeless. Maybe it's better to walk away from this adventure so that you can help the next group.
Yeah.
You know, like the next adventure will save the town.
Yeah.
But that couple.
You're still good. You're still good.
I've got 6 cats. I know. I sympathize.
Oh God.
But you understand what I'm saying.
I 100%. And we've had the conversation about what it means to be a hero, writing heroes in games. We had a very interesting conversation about villains and heroes, and what a villain can do to compromise a hero. The subtle things that they can do to challenge a hero. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that one. Poor John. Right. His struggle is so struggle. I know, baby. You're okay. You still look good, though.
You're muted, pal. You're muted.
He's like, my shit's probably not even plugged in right now.
I'm cleaning up the iced tea that I just spilled all over myself, my chair, my fucking computer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good. I'm having a moment over here. You guys do your thing.
No, we're good.
All right, I'll take the next one.
2023, honey.
So let's talk about this other part of your life, the podcaster. How did you get involved with MUP?
Oh God, how did I get involved with
Miskatonic University Podcast?
Yes, the 2-time Emmy Award-winning Miskatonic University Podcast. So, the world ended in 2020, and that was great. And I was one of those people that was like, online gaming is dumb. I'll never do it. And then 2020 hit, and now that's primarily what I do. I was also one of those people who's like, I'll never watch or listen to an actual play. I'd rather be playing. And now I listen to actual plays all the time. Maturation is funny. So the world ended in 2020. I started doing a lot of online gaming. At this point, Symphony had launched in 2019, and it was just a small-time publishing company. I was publishing things on the Miskatonic repository. I was putting on games, events, panels, and blah, blah, blah. And during the stay orders, when everyone was losing their mind, I did a lot of online gaming. And at some point, I came onto the radar of Keeper Chad over at the Miskatonic University Podcast. He introduced the concept of Bridgett, whoever I was, to another individual, Keeper Dave, the one who shared COVID with me. We love you so much, Keeper Dave. And Keeper Dave reached out to me. It's like, hey, do you want to come onto the Miskatonic University Podcast and do an episode? You can talk about Symphony and yourself. And I was like, sure, that sounds fun. I had never listened to the Miskatonic University Podcast. I had never been a formal guest on a podcast of that size before. The day before, I was scheduled to, was the day of or the day before? One of the two, either the day of or the day before that I was supposed to record. I sent him an email and I canceled. I lied. And I sent some email like I misscheduled the day, or sorry, something. I lied because my anxiety ran through the roof. And I just couldn't do it. So they was like, oh yeah, we'll reschedule for next week. I was like, I really wanted y'all just to go to hell away, but okay, we'll do it next week. Sure. And the following week, I pushed through my fear, to Oscar's point. I did an episode with them. Thank God they loved me. And the very next episode, they invited me back to be like a trial guest. And then I wanted to join the podcast after that. Oscar, I've been with them going on, Dave, and I just figured it out. I'm getting ready to hit my 3rd year with them, which is absolutely amazing.
You do bring a great energy to the crew. So
thank you, Dave,
for sure.
I appreciate that. I love Dave for keeping up with us, because Murph is just as loud and obnoxious as I am. we can be very overpowering. Thank you for that compliment. I will take it and run. Yeah, so the Miskatonic University podcast, if you're not familiar with it, it's a 2-time Any Award podcast that discusses weird and horrific role-playing games. So this is everything from Alien to Dread to Pirate Board to lots and lots and lots of Call of Cthulhu. If it's weird and horrific role-playing games, we have it. We bring on special guests and blah, 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 blah. You can check more on at mu-podcast.com.
It's a great place to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening. You get all the new up and coming authors, writers, get previews and reviews of good adventures, fiction. Yeah, it's all there.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate that.
Yep,
so yeah, that's how I get started with them.
Yeah, and has it been overall? In being involved in the podcasting community, having that aspect, going to conventions, has that affected your writing? Like, how does that all sort of dovetail together?
Yeah, it's amazing how those things all cycle together in this beautiful avalanche of snowballs that, runs down the hill, because the Miskatonic University podcast, because we bring on such high quality guests, puts me in front of people that I may have neither otherwise gotten in front of. Like, for example, we invited Becca Scott on to be of the Calyx and the Good Time Society to be on the Miskatonic University podcast. We're going back and forth and flirting with each other and laughing and having a good time. And she makes an offhand statement. It's like, oh my God, you should come on and play on the Calyx. Again, my fear was like, I've never done a professional actual play of that size. I'm not going to just let it go. And maybe a month or so later, Murph was like, yo, did you ever holler at Becca about getting on the Calyx? I was like, nah, she was just being nice. He was like, she wasn't just being nice. She asked you to email her to see if you wanted to go on the Calyx. I was like, I don't know. He's like, do you want me to email her for you? I was like, no, I'll do it. Fucking keep her, Murph. And I did. And that's how I got started with the Calyx and that entire, run I did with the Good Time Society. So the interview podcast kind of links into the actual play because there's so much overlap in the community. When you're doing actual plays, you like I met you two through this community, through weird off circuits of MUP. So and then that writes you in like, hey, I get in front of Oscar Rios, and then suddenly like, oh, this is the guy that runs Golden Garden Plus. I love being on his Facebook page and antagonizing him with constant positivity.
Not always. I get to see behind the curtain. I think that we've progressed. That I get to see the real you.
Listen, the amount of fun I have jumping on the Golden Goblin Press's Facebook page and slathering it with affection and irritating Oscar makes me so happy. But I go to Necronomicon as a member of MUP. Where does that put me? In front of Mike Mason. What is Mike Mason talking to? Oscar Rios. How did that get in? Now suddenly I'm having dinner with Oscar Rios. So that community, once you find one in, is very easy to avalanche into multiple aspects of it. So how's it been? It's been a blessing. From a pure networking standpoint, it's been a blessing. From a career cultivation standpoint, it's been absolutely invaluable. From a let's challenge you to be a better writer, a better podcaster, to get better equipment, to tell better stories, to build better communities. It's been beautiful. And that's because of the people who are already here doing what they love doing any damn way.
Nice. And to pick up on that, though, and talk about community, the community that surrounds you in the Symphony Discord is amazing.
Thank you,
I'm on every day scrolling through, just everybody's welcoming, accepting it. It's such a great, creative, supportive space to be. And that's because of you.
Thank you, babe. John, thank you. You are killing me with the compliments today. And sorry, I can feel my nose going like I'm done. So sorry if I'm getting nasally or he's making me cry. John, thank you. And thank you for being an active member of that community. It's not just me. That's a us situation. We collectively get together. But to my point, in gaming, go find your people. And if you can't find it, build that shit yourself and attract people to you. One of them two methods is going to work for you. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
be patient and have faith. Because if you go to a con and everybody sucks, but you meet one good player that you trade contact with,
worth it.
It's worth it. Pretty much every single person in my orbit that I game with regularly was at one point a total stranger that sat across from me at a table at a con.
Yeah.
And it thrown out of your hotel room.
A lot of people in the industry got kicked out of our hotel room when security showed up in 2015. And it's funny, I joked, it's not a real party until security comes and breaks it up.
Security
And then an hour later, security came and broke up
and
the
broke it
party.
up. It's a real party.
No, but seriously, you're gonna meet trash people.
Yep.
You're gonna meet unaccepting people.
Yep.
But you're gonna meet one or two gems, and if you can just collect enough gems, you'll have a group, and then
Correct.
eventually you'll have a basket that even if it's hard to organize.
Yep.
5 people, there are another 15 people that you can say, hey, are you available?
Agreed. And in order to collect that basket, you have to keep going back out there, guys.
You gotta put yourself out there.
You have to just keep doing it. And I know it can be frustrating when you have experiences that challenge you as a person, but you have to just keep going after it. And that's in writing, that's in actual plays, that's in podcasting, that's in gaming, that you have to continue to go out there. That's the only way you're going to collect those gems.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we may be stealing Amy, so just on the, kind of
worth it. We talking about Tate? Do that a lot. You talking about Amy? Listen, you ain't got to steal Amy. I will throw Amy your direction because that child is brilliant. Holy shit.
Well, I would love to get you and Amy in a Cthulhu Invictus game with us at some point. And I promise there won't be any spiders.
Thank you. I appreciate it. See, this is why you're the homies. I love it.
Because I have several that involve spiders.
I mean, if you want to go back to your
heads up.
I got you. And if you want to go back to your original palette of like kids in danger, I'm good with that too. Like, fuck them kids. Let's do it.
Well, we're probably a few weeks away from starting a massive play test of something I'm running in the fall, called The Accursed Land.
The Accursed Land. Ooh, fun title.
A centurion just bought a large estate in Moesia, which is Bulgaria today, to retire on with his new wife.
Okay.
And of course, all the locals tell him, you shouldn't stay on this land.
It's
no
cursed,
good comes of it.
cursed.
It's cursed.
Don't do it.
And then basically, they figure out the investigators have to solve the mystery behind the curse and try and find a way to lift it.
Oh.
But they're not even, but they start off basically saying it's the accursed land, and they're like, why? And nobody can really tell them why, because no one's lived on this land for so long.
Oh.
The details of what have gone on are now
are lost to time. Yeah.
Right. But nobody lives here.
The fear persists, but no one can give you the real details on what happened.
And of course, this guy shows up with you, with the players, and like a dozen freedmen, slaves, family members.
Yeah.
To like renovate this villa and start getting this place under control.
And then they find out why it is.
And then things start happening.
Yes. So was that an official invitation to join that play test, or were you just? I didn't. Just clarity matters.
If I said it, it's an official invitation.
Cool. I accept. Get Amy.
We don't have a date yet.
We'll get one.
But because we've adjourned for the holiday season.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
So January, February,
mid-January.
Okay, that'll work. I like it.
My group is in a bit of flux, so some people may be starting new characters.
Okay.
Despite the protests of their fellow players.
Ooh. Listen, it's the gaming environment. Shit happens.
But no, I would love to, help you guys with character creations. Find something that sings to you.
Sexy. Yeah. I like this.
Okay,
I'll let Amy know.
Right. And if you just want to pick up a pre-gen, there are a ton of them to choose from.
Good.
There's like 9 more. I think anyway.
Listen, I'm so easy. Just make me hurt and it'll be fine.
Right.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay, cool. All right, we're moving on or
moving on.
Yeah. So you guys stream repeatedly throughout the week. And I'll catch little bits and pieces. but it's hard for me personally because I don't get signal at work and blah blah blah. Like most people listen to podcasts in the car at work.
Yep.
Are we going to see at some point in the future a Symphony podcast, perhaps, or are you strictly staying with the streaming platform? And it's about the experience, right? People get dressed up. You had your Christmas lights on yesterday, and
yes, that I just like threw on the back of my table here.
Yeah.
All right, so John, let's have a super transparent conversation. You already know this, but I'm gonna tell your viewers, I suck at technology. I don't know what the fuck is going on with computers most days. I really don't. It's just not my jam. It's a skill set that I am marginally willing to learn and improve upon, and I do. I have launched a streaming platform, and we can do it. I chose streaming because I didn't have to do any editing. That's exactly why we're streaming right now. I chose streaming because it would be accessible to new players. Because you don't have to have what Cuppy Cup from Ain't Slay Nobody paid for me here. You don't have to have the dual monitors or the sexy camera just to get on and stream a game. So I wanted things where I can invite my friends on comfortably to join in on the experience. And then most importantly, I didn't want to edit. John, I will 100% launch a podcast if someone else edits that shit. The other trick with the someone else comes and edits that shit, when you're dealing with an audio, this is my experience, Bridgett's experience. When you're dealing with an audio only drama format, sound quality really matters. You can tell when someone has a bougie mic and then someone else has a Yeti and someone else is on a headset, and that can be jarring or disruptive to some viewers, some listeners. And if I were going to release my own podcast, I would probably want to do what Cuppy Cup did and make sure everyone had consistent equipment. But I'm not about to ask nobody to go and spend money on something if I can't fucking pay them. So for me to get a podcast off the ground, I would need the sponsorship money, the viewership money to pay people. I would need consistent equipment across the cast, and I need somebody to do the editing. Now, if you would like to handle those three things for me, John, I will start podcasting January of 2024.
I can do everything.
I can answer for John. No.
I can do everything but the editing. Fuck editing. I hate it.
Editing is tough. Y'all got a podcast. Y'all know. I ain't about to learn no editing.
I used to do sound effects and all kinds of, right? Because I listen to podcasts and I enjoy that experience. It's soundscape, whatever. Ain't Slayed Nobody.
Yep.
How we roll.
How we roll.
So I was like, well, fuck, I'll do that. So I'm like doing Foley and like recording shit at work and like walking through the grocery store. I'm like, I can't. This is fucking stupid. I can't. I did it for a while, a long while. And my buddy Jesse was just like, just stop. Like, just stop doing it. Because it would take me, an entire weekend to edit an hour's episode.
I
fucking hate it.
I used to do short segments called Tales from the Empire or something for MUP.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be like 10 minutes and it would take me like 6 hours.
6 hours to edit. Oh, it's a mess.
Because there were like tons of special effects and voiceovers and and I'm like,
oh my God.
I love doing it. I did a bunch of them, but it's like, holy hell, is it a lot of work.
Y'all, if you enjoy a podcast anywhere, make sure you send not just the writers, not just the performers, send them damn editors a thank you, because they are the unsung heroes of quality that is getting out to you right now. I think a Mupp episode, I was talking to a couple of editors about an hour and 20-minute episode might take them 6 to 7 hours to edit. 6 to 7 hours to get an hour worth of content. Yeah. You don't even want to talk about what Cup does over at Ain't Slayed Nobody, because he's working a part-time job per episode. I don't understand how he does it.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get a podcast, babe, as soon as I can pay people, supply equipment, and and find an editor that doesn't hate their souls and mine. Yep.
So
fair enough.
If you would support Bridgett's Patreon.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. I think there's links in the show notes.
We're going to leave links to the show notes that you can vote on. I am willing to, support Bridgett's podcast Patreon.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And that's at patreon.com/.
For $75 a month. You can,
$75 a month. And you can help Bridgett get a podcast out.
I had a Patreon for my YouTube Star Frontier channel during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was a good month when we made $25.
I'm sorry, but did you make $25?
Yes.
Did you put yourself out there as a small business owner on Patreon? Did you have somebody volunteer their money, donate money to you? Did you have more than $0 at the end of that month? Congratulations on your successful Patreon.
Well, no, we did have $0.
You had 25.
StreamYard was $25 a month.
I'm sorry, $25 out of pocket, or could you pay with it with Patreon money?
It was just Patreon money.
See?
It was a push, but I love doing it. So.
Congratulations on your successful Patreon. Guys, you don't have to have... Oh, let me say that really fast. I'm going to steal this from BD Waters. BD Walters. I have COVID. Send help. I think it's BD Walters. He's brilliant. And I love him so much. He came onto the
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters, Jesus. Me and my names today.
Just said people.
Brilliant people in the industry. He came onto the Miskatonic University podcast and he said something to me that I thought it's going to bother me. It's going to bother me right now. So what I'm going to do is stop in the middle of this podcast and look up this damn main name. Beam Day Walters. Thank you so much. God is good. Whew, COVID. He came up to the Miskatonic University podcast and he made a statement about people who have podcasts that are just launched or books that have just launched or are new in the industry in any way. Don't worry about what Ain't Slate Nobody is doing as far as downloads. Don't worry about how many people will chime in live to Critical Role. Don't worry about any of those people. Just worry about building your own individual community. And one of the things he said that really stuck out to me, he says, if you have a new podcast and you got 3 viewers a week, you might feel like you're not doing well. But if you threw a party at your house and 3 people showed up, you have enough to play a game. You have enough to hang out. If you have a podcast and you have 200 downloads and you're just like, oh my God, so-and-so is doing 10,000 downloads a month. If you had a house party and 200 people showed up, you would be completely overwhelmed with that volume of people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't compare yourself to other people. They're not doing what you're doing. Comparison can be great from a growth standpoint, from like a comp comparison. How do I do this better? What are ways, blah, blah, blah. But don't tie your value to what other people are doing. Do what the hell you're doing and be proud of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. If your Patreon is doing $25 a month, God damn it, your Patreon is doing $25 a month. You're not pulling out of your, shared marital checking account to pay for StreamYards. Your Patrons who enjoy your content are doing it. I just wanted to say that really fast. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. Worry about what you're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%. There's so many people out there doing stuff now, and everybody's doing something that's, different. Their own, doing their thing. So
Agreed.
Tons of good content too.
Oh, there's so much great content out there too. So just go create your content. To Oscar's amazing point at the beginning, get over your own fears. Get out of your own way and go get it done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, do we want to wrap? We want to throw this last one.
Last one.
12 is my favorite number.
What can we look forward to from you and Symphony Entertainment? What's 2024 like? What are your long-term goals? Where do we go from here?
Okay. This is a great time because the Symphony Petty Awards airs tomorrow live, and I'm going to be discussing some of this. So things you can expect for 2024 from Symphony Entertainment. We are going to finally be rolling out long-form storytelling. I have been doing mostly 1-shots or 2-shots on Symphony. So, you get in and out and go. We're going to be running a long-form Alien, the RPG campaign. Nice. I am going to be running Vampire the Masquerade for the very first time. Y'all send thoughts and prayers because y'all know how that community can be. We're going to have long-form storytelling coming out. We are on the brink of more paid opportunities for my cast. So we just landed a Kickstarter grant with Richard Ruan, who published Moonlight on Roseville Beach. Those monies have already come in. I've already secured the cast. I am turning that corner where sponsorships and viewerships are getting to the point where I can actually start paying people to come in and play games and run games and edit games and do things for us. And that is something I am extremely excited about, because let me tell you, there's just a feeling that comes along with, I played a role-playing game for 2 hours online and somebody sent me a check for X.
Yeah.
There's something magical about being seen in that type of way. That's really all that I have right now.
That's all that you have? How about girl, you're You got all the oars in the water, rolling as frantically as you can. So God bless.
I love you too. Thank you so much. That's all that I have going on. Right now, there are a few conventions you're going to be able to see me at. Some of them I can announce, some of them I can't. So just follow us on socials for all that fun stuff, and we'll go from there.
Are you going to be at Necro?
I am. Yes.
Sweet.
Okay, John. Let's have a quick conversation about Necro. Just while we're here, while I'm eating up time on your show. Necro is 2 weeks after Gen Con. I'm scared.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah,
I'm scared. Now I have my
Hmm.
hotel book. I'm gonna buy my flight here in a couple of months, but guys, I'm just scared. I got COVID after Gen Con last time, and like that's a lot. Isn't that a lot? Do y'all do both? How does that work? What do
I
people
don't.
do?
I won't do Gen Con. It's too many
Hate
people.
Gen Con.
Okay, so
I feel it is
okay.
overcrowded. It is impersonal. It is way commercialized. The rooming blocks are a freaking nightmare. Unless I'm nominated for an Emmy, I'm not going.
You're not going. Okay. Well, you do have
And
plenty of
I
those.
have not sent anything for any consideration in a couple of years.
Okay. Got tired of sweeping them? Is that what happened?
No. I got aspert because my dream project didn't get any love, but that's a personal thing.
Ouch. I'm sorry, babe.
No, that's my fucking ego.
I know.
I got to get over myself.
Heard, and I'm still sorry because that's a frustrating feeling. So yeah,
Because when you submit for any consideration, you got to send like 6 copies of a book.
Yeah.
And if that book is like $65 you're spending $250 to roll the dice.
Yeah.
So I am a very small company. I run this out of everything behind me. It's so $250 buys a lot of art.
Yes, it does.
It
that pays your editors.
Yeah.
Yep, that pays your proofreaders. It plays. Yeah.
I mean, it's taken me 10 years, but I think I finally figured out how to run a small business.
I don't care. You figured it out. That's at the end of the day, that's what you figured out. So yeah, guys, I have every intention of being at Necronomicon, but boy, let me tell you, I'm worried about those dates.
You have to come to our karaoke party.
We have a karaoke party.
There's an official karaoke party.
Okay.
And then there's Golden Goblin Press's karaoke party.
I've never done
night.
karaoke before. I've attended plenty of them. I've never actually been on stage and sang no. I might go ahead and let y'all pop that cherry for 2024.
Oh my! We rented a room last year and had like 14 people in it, and we closed the place.
Yeah.
We rented the largest room and closed the place. At one, we were all so drunk. At some point, somebody called the all-night cookie place and ordered one of everything, which was delivered to the karaoke room.
That's so delicious.
It was. Like Black Phillip. We were living deliciously.
Living
Foods and cookies. Singing with our friends.
Amazing. Yeah. So, John, I have every intentions of seeing you at Necronomicon again, babe.
Awesome.
I want to hang out with you on a bench in the middle of the sunshine and like listen to Murph argue with somebody over nothing. Yeah, I need that experience for us.
Sweet.
Yes.
I'll come up with a concept that the three of us going to be on a panel together.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time, babe. Let's do it.
Excellent.
Conquering your fear.
No,
you know what?
Right, there you go.
We that done.
Okay, I'll see y'all for 2024.
You did this. You did this, Bridgett.
Okay, Neil. All right, Neil. We've got a panel.
We're coming, Neil. We already got it ready to go.
And my editor Lisa's coming this year.
Oh, nice.
Good.
So yeah, she hasn't been.
You're gonna get Regina to come out.
Oh, that's gonna be a tough one, but yeah. I'd love it. I mean, she is a minor nerd celebrity now. Long-term campaign player for Legends of Tabletop.
Let's do it. Let's get it. Come on, we already got our panel set. We've got the karaoke night going. We're good. We're rocking and rolling right now.
Right.
Sweet. All right. Well,
is that it? Did we make it?
I think so. Yeah, I think we did it. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Oscar, you have anything as we head out?
We just announced our major publication for 2028, The Horror Ulteriori, It is a collection of 7 Call of Cthulhu Invictus adventures. It's a mix of established Annie Award-winning authors, established authors, and a number of fairly new authors, one of which will be making their debut. The details on it are on our Facebook page. We've got Jeff Muller, Richard Watts, Fred Groves, a new author, Alex Sun, Kat.
You got Alex Sun,
Kat's in it on your recommendation. She got a great pitch. God, I'm blanking. Morgan Llewellyn, who did karaoke with us, and we've published him before, and myself. So, really, really excited about that.
Congratulations.
And we will be announcing another project in the next few weeks. I'm waiting till I have cover art to really, but there will be, and the Legacy of Arius Lurko 2nd edition will be out. We were almost done editing it.
Okay.
And the companion, the Arius Lurko companion, which is going to be a PDF, that's already written. And I'll be sending that to editing probably in the either this week or next week. So we're going to be doing a lot to promote the Cthulhu Invictus line in 2024. So 2024 is going to be the year of Cthulhu Invictus for us.
Congratulations, guys.
My team is doing Rising Phoenix in April, and we are running 13 different rounds of Call of Cthulhu. And many of those are going to be short 2-hour demos. They're going to be short 2-hour games. So if you want to try Call of Cthulhu, but you don't want to invest 4 hours, that's the perfect time.
Yes, this is the way. I like it. Yes.
Nice. And Bridgett, do you have anything you want to lead out with? We have links in the show notes for the things. Check the Patreon, all that stuff.
Nah, baby, if you've got links in the show notes, listen, we're already cooking with grease. You guys can find me around the internet. You can find me on the Miskatonic University podcast. Honestly, if you're looking to get started writing with Call of Cthulhu, please email me and let me get your life together, because it's just you holding you back. We can get you there. And again, you can email me at Bridgett you walk across with 2 T's at chaosium.com. For anything else, actual play, publishing, me rambling about nothing, feel free to hit me up at Symphony Entertainment, ga@gmail.com, or you can just find me at symphonyentertainment.com, and it'll link you everywhere else you need to go.
Sweet. All right. Thank you.
Yay, John. Thank you.
We have our Patreon up as well. If you want to throw a couple of bucks at us that way, that's awesome. Goes towards keeping the lights on, I guess, although we record and podcast for spite. So we're just going to do it anyway. It doesn't matter. But your ratings and reviews on iTunes or whatever your podcatcher of choice is, super helpful. Algorithms, blah, blah, blah. You listen to podcasts, you get it. So thanks a lot. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.
Peace. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.